Looking for clarity and confidence when it comes to decision making for your business? You've come to the right place. You're now listening to the Atomic Business Coaching Podcast.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Tom.
And together, we are Atomic Business Coaching,
where our stories are your solutions.
Do we have any solutions? I don't know.
Do we have a solution?
How do you figure out solutions?
You gotta drive to them. That's what people always say. Drive to your solutions. Be the resolution. Right? Part of being the resolution. Right? Yeah, you have to have the confidence in that. Absolutely.
You know, if you don't have confidence in what you're going to do, you're never going to get any solutions because you're going to always be skeptical about them. You're going to second guess them. It's kind of like what we talked about on our last episode about indecision. Mm-hmm. Well, this is kind of a good dovetail into that about talking about confidence.
Yeah, absolutely.
So where are you at with clients, yourself, overall ecosystem of confidence?
You know, me, myself, I feel I'm very confident. I wasn't always confident. I always, I struggled with that when I was younger, was being confident. But I think the more that you practice something, the more that you have the opportunity to do something, you build the confidence over time. And, I've really adapted this idea that self-confidence is really about trust, right? Do you trust yourself enough in a situation that you are going to respond in a way that you'll be able to get out of that situation? Do you trust yourself enough to be able to navigate that situation? Do you trust yourself to respond a specific way or a certain way, knowing that no matter what, you've got this, right? And it's really something that people struggle with. I mean, you see this all the time, and we live in such a world that questions our self-confidence and creates self-doubt on an everyday basis, right? Yeah. Social media has done so much to people's self-esteem and their confidence levels because of what people are viewing on a regular basis. And people compare themselves to other people. And comparison is the enemy of confidence, especially...
I don't know, I might disagree with that.
All right. Well, let me just finish my thought.
Go ahead.
When we are comparing ourselves to other people...
Okay, now I'll agree with you.
Okay, we reduce our confidence level. When we compare ourselves to who we were yesterday, which is where we need to focus, is are we better than we were yesterday? It's an opportunity to learn and to grow and to build your confidence and keep moving forward. So when you compare yourself to other people, that's not the best for confidence.
Yep, and that's exactly what I was going to say. I'm like, you actually need comparison in your life. So I'm glad you clarified it. Sorry I cut you off, but that was a little bit of fun. Yeah, but it was good the way you positioned it too. But that is exactly what I am advising people. The thing that I think to myself every single day is in order to have that confidence, you have to have improvement. Right? If you don't have improvement, you're not going to have confidence. You're going to have regression, and you're usually going to beat yourself up about stuff, or you're going to second guess what you're doing all the time. So you have to have a benchmark, right? And the benchmark can be yourself yesterday. It can be yourself last week, last year, whatever it may be.
Right.
But you absolutely 100% need to have that comparison to yourself. So that's who you're in competition with. And the cool thing is you get to be in competition with that person for your entire life.
Yep.
You know them better than anybody else. So it really starts with confidence and having a confidence about yourself, about your own execution on things, your own decision-making process on things, your own vision of what your future is. And that really has to start with looking inside of you and saying, well, what do I want? Right? If you don't know what you actually want, not what society says you should have, not what your neighbor has, not what your spouse thinks is the ideal thing. It's what do I want? Well, if you don't even know that, you'll never have confidence in your life.
Right. And that is so important. And that's such a pivotal question that we ask people all the time is, how do you define success for yourself? Right? Because that is your frame of reference around what's going to determine your confidence. Because if you create this world of success and you have a vision of what your success looks like, and you're working towards that, and every day you get that one step closer, that's going to give you a confidence in yourself that if you're comparing it to somebody else's terminology of success, somebody else's definition of success, that's going to change how you see yourself. And you said something very important about looking in on yourself, right? It really comes from this idea, and I talk about it. I don't want to use the word control so much in confidence, but your internal locus of control, it says, I have everything that I need right here within me, and I am in control of myself at all times. And if you have that sense of control, that then you can build your confidence, right? Because control is a very big part of having some confidence and being confident in yourself. When you have that external sense of control, when it's outside of you, you're so easily influenced by other things that you lose that sense of control, and then you start to doubt yourself, which impedes your self-confidence, and it really can hurt you. So you have to remember that confidence is, I'm in charge of me. I'm in charge of me. I trust me. And I know that no matter what I face, I'm going to get through it. And that's the thing. That's the mantra that you have to basically say over and over. That's the affirmation. Because when there's a thing you can't control, when there's a situation you really have no control over, you always control your response to that. And that's where your confidence is exuded, is when you respond to that situation, that you've maintained the control over yourself.
It's great. Yeah, control's a big thing.
Yeah.
When I deal with confidence in myself, I look back at my experiences, right? And have I done this before? Well, sometimes I have, and sometimes I haven't. So I tell people who are newer to whatever they're doing this whole time, I'm like, you have to suck in the beginning. Like, you have to suck. But you have to be confident that it's okay to suck as long as I get better tomorrow. Right? And so many people have a lack of confidence because they think they're supposed to be perfect in the beginning. And they start a business and they're like, I'm supposed to all of a sudden be profitable and know how to set up my bank account and know how to hire an employee and know how to send out invoices and understand, like, how do I build a business, and should I do W-2 employees or 1099? Or you don't know that because you've never done that before. Right? So what I try to have people do is chop off small little tasks at a time, right? As you just achieve these, and we talk about it with atomic habits. That's one of the things I use with a lot of my mastermind groups and things of that nature. Is it's the aggregation of marginal gains, right? It's these little tiny bits and pieces that you add and layer on to what you're doing each and every day. Well, as you start to do things, even if they're little things for a short period of time, repetitively over and over again, you get more confident in that. Okay? When you gain that confidence, notice what I said, when you gain that confidence, okay, your whole life changes.
Yeah.
Confidence is not something you are granted. It's something you earn. You have to put the work in to get the confidence. But you shouldn't feel like things can't get done if you have no confidence.
Right.
That just means it's just you telling yourself that you need education, experience, discipline, and work ethic. It's really all that is.
Yeah. And it's so critical. You are, when you have that opportunity to practice over and over, and you take your experiences and you can accept what has happened along the way and make those improvements, right? People have these fears of failure, right? Fears of failure, fears of success. It's all the same crap to me. Yeah. Like it's either one or the other, right? It's very, we're not product placing there, Adam.
Product placement.
But I part of confidence, like I working with, with one of these guys that is starting his own business, he's like, who's going to buy from me? Who's going to want my services, right? It's a little bit of imposter syndrome. But I'm like, you have expertise in an area. He's a personal trainer, right? He knows what he's doing. He's very good at it. And he has the body. It's a walking billboard, okay? It's a walking billboard that he has the expertise on how to do personal training, okay? So I said, but if you walk into a room and you're going to give a presentation, you're going to talk to people, and you're going to recruit people to work with you, If you walk in like, oh, very wishy-washy, I don't really, yeah, we could do something like that, yada, yada. And now this walking billboard becomes like this flimsy thing, then you're not going to get people's confidence in you that you're going to be the best fit for them. Right. So you have to work on how you present your confidence, right? It was interesting. We were talking about doing a little research before this, and I found this article. It's a blog, and they talked about 4 types of confidence, 4 different types. And it's unwarranted confidence, right? So unwarranted, right? The cocky arrogance, right? That's the unwarranted confidence, right?
I love those people.
Yeah. You overestimate your abilities. You're awesome. You think you're great, and that's a very unwarranted confidence. Maybe you don't have any experience, but you put it out there like you have, right? And you make it look really good. Pasted on confidence is, oh, I can do that. But you're deathly afraid of that, but you don't want anybody to know you're afraid of that, right? So you paste it on. It's a temporary confidence. Oh, yeah, sure. Oh, I could do that. Yeah, that's not a problem. Yeah, okay, maybe I can't. Well, let me think about that, right? And then you're going through, and that's all fake. And then it's, I've already done it confidence. Right? I've done that. I've done that before. That's not a good one either. That creates a lot of problems. You think about it in terms of sports, right? You go out there and you think a team is not better than you. You think they're a sucky team, and you go out and you face that team and you lose. I've done that before. I've beat this team before. Why wouldn't I beat them again? That's the idea that I got when it came to it. And then the last one was effort will lead to results confidence. Right? The effort will lead to results.
Hey.
And that's the confidence you want to have. Yeah. Is that if you put in the effort and you get the results, that's how you build your confidence. And I was like, wow, that is an awesome way to look at it.
Yeah, that's exactly how I try to have people like just chop off little bits and pieces and put that effort in, have those things that are accomplished at the end of the day, and you will earn that confidence from yourself.
Right.
Right.
I don't have the skill yet, but I'm going to master it. I'm going to learn it. I'm going to give myself, I'm going to allow, I always say to people, confidence is allowing your failures to happen. It's allowing your failures to exist. It's allowing and accepting, not to let them happen, but to accept when they happen that they're really not failures. They're more information on your learning, and how you respond to that failure is what builds your confidence. Because if you respond to that failure and you take the next step and you work out how you want to do it going forward, now you're learning. Now you're succeeding. But if you look at it and you go, I don't think I could do that anymore, well, that's going to pull down your confidence, and it's going to make you question it even more.
Absolutely. And I used to have a lack of confidence when I first I transitioned. I've been in financial services for 23 years, but I made a major transition from banking to more of the investment side. And it was all brand new to me, and I didn't know that much. And I was lucky I had an amazing mentor named Eric Tom, just an incredible guy, taught me so much. And Eric, if you ever see this, I'm very thankful for you and everything you did for me, pal. So what happened through that is he taught me about preparation. And this guy is the youngest MetLife Hall of Famer in the history of the company since like 1878.
Wow.
Yeah, and youngest ever. And I was lucky enough to have him mentor me and go through this humongous case that I had with hundreds and hundreds of people. And we were doing these workshops, right? And he was talking about a topic I knew nothing about. And he was just so amazing at it. And he went and did this presentation, just seamless and critical. So I'm like, this is great. Unbelievable. This guy is amazing. Now, Eric, how do I learn how to do this? And he's like, well, the same way I'm going to learn, so just come with me next Tuesday. And I'm like, what do you mean you're going to learn next Tuesday? He's like, we're going into the conference room. Okay. He brings me into the conference room, and this guy is sitting there with a video camera, his computer, a whiteboard, and he's going to do the presentation. This is a guy, youngest Hall of Fame ever in MetLife, and he's sitting there right there preparing for what he's about to do. He had the confidence because he put all the work in, the preparation. Preparation gives you an amazing amount of confidence. You can't go into things blindly.
Right.
And this guy, he would spend an hour perfecting a 15-minute long presentation. And he taught me all these great tactics and techniques. And I think I became a better public speaker because of him as well. But the best thing that I learned from him was all about that preparation. I am always over-prepared. Always over-prepared for what I'm doing. I show up 15 minutes early to everything. I make sure I do all my research. And the reason why is I never want to worry about my confidence going into a situation. Never, ever. And you never have to either, as long as you prepare, especially as a business owner. There are so many things that you need to have the ability to have at bare minimum the perception of confidence. Okay? And you don't, I'm not saying fake it till you make it or anything like that, but you have to be able to lead with confidence. And if you do that preparation beforehand for your staff, for your clients, even going into your banker and handling the transactions and everything, if you are prepared, you will naturally have a little bit more confidence. So that's one of the things that's changed my life. And hopefully some of you are struggling with confidence can really think about what are the ways I can do to prepare more and more for that.
Right. And that's such a, preparation, absolutely 100% totally agree with that, because the more you're prepared, the better you're going to do. And the other thing that's going to come of it is the thing that you maybe didn't prepare for. You're going to be able to handle that because you did prepare.
Right.
And confidence is also admitting what you don't know.
Sure.
Right? People forget that. People think
That's the situation today.
Yeah. People feel like, oh, I'm confident. I know, I have to know this. I have to know. And absolutely not. And I used to tell people all the time when I was managing people, like, don't be afraid to say to somebody, I don't know that answer. I'm going to have to get back to you. And then it's in the getting back to you. It's in the follow-up and it's the follow-through that builds the confidence, and it builds the other person's confidence in you because because you've completed that cycle and you've given them the information that they needed. So now they have confidence in you that you're going to get them what they need. But at the same time, maybe you didn't know that. Being able to admit that you don't know what you don't know is confidence. And a lot of people forget that.
Yeah. You'll get a ton of respect out of it too.
That's it. And that's what it's about, right? We want to exude confidence because we want people to respect and trust us, right?
Correct.
Just as much as self-confidence is trust in yourself, it's also how you gain other people's trust. It's a very important part of that relationship. So when you're working with clients and you're working with vendors, you want to make sure that they have a confidence in you and because they can trust you.
Yeah. Oh, man. It's a fun topic. It's a fun topic because when you see someone finally gain the confidence in themselves, it's a magical experience. It's a beautiful thing to watch. It's a beautiful thing to experience for yourself. I'm sure everyone listening to this or watching this has at some point in their time had that confidence epiphany. And you're just like, oh my, it feels so good. It's like a dopamine hit to you. It's just incredible. And for me and Tom, when we get to watch people experience that through our work and gaining that confidence, it's no other word. It's magical to see.
It's absolutely. We're working with a client right now, and she has just gone leaps and bounds into herself, and she's like killing it, and she's speaking up for herself, and she's saying exactly what needs to be said. She's being very candid about it, and she's doing it with an amount of confidence that she didn't once have. And when you see that and you go, yeah, hell yeah, like that's exactly what we want to see, because your confidence will allow you to speak your truth, to be open, and you will have an awareness that you didn't once have. And that's the beautiful thing is that it creates an awareness also. It's not just being confident. It's the awareness of everything around you. And you also start to observe people in your world that are not as confident as you. Right. You start to see, you become more aware of what you're surrounding yourself by. And you want to be surrounded by other people who are confident. Yep. Because if you're surrounded by people that are not confident, guess what happens?
Yeah, you lose confidence. You are the sum total of the 5 people you surround yourself with.
Or they push you away. And they don't want you to be part of their circle anymore because you're too confident for them. And you're not going to be someone that they can play on and do the things that they would once doing. So you got to be aware of who you're in, what your sphere of influence is when you become more confident, when you develop that confidence.
Yeah, sometimes it's better to just be by yourself.
Absolutely.
Oh man, I mean, it is a tough world to be confident in. It really is, for everything that we're doing and all that's happening in business and in the economy and in families and with money situations, just paying the bills. It's tough to be confident. So what can you do, Tom? What can you really do to change your confidence?
What can you do to change your confidence? Well, a lot of it is going to come from your lack of confidence will come from fears and doubts about yourself, right? So what you have to do is in a time like this where there's a lot of fear, we have to embrace that there's always going to be some type of fear out there. There's always going to be some kind of fear. And we have to accept fear into our lives as an advisor and as a friend and not let it paralyze us, not let it make us run amok. Fear is information. It's information that more needs to be known. And that's what I was talking about before, is that lack of confidence. When you're confident, you have a knowingness about something, and you know, when you're fearful, it's because something else needs to be known. And just know what you don't know and be willing to accept that and integrate that fear into your life. Because it's always going to be there. You know what? After this economic crisis is over, there'll be another thing, right? We've gone through so many phases of fear in the last 2 years, the last 3 years with the pandemic and now the money crisis. And there'll be something else in the future. But the key is that just keep educating yourself, keep learning. Don't consume stuff that's not going to be beneficial to you. And I think the greatest thing is don't give yourself reasons to lack your confidence. Stop comparing yourself to other people. Be intentional in what you're doing. To your point before, be prepared for what you're embarking on. Gather information, gather the knowledge, take it all in, and use all of it to establish and then practice it and establish yourself as a confident person.
Yeah, it's putting that effort in. You'll gain the confidence.
Absolutely.
I would say the last thing I would say on this topic here is that, especially for business owners, right? If you're brand new in business, it's very, very, very difficult to have any kind of confidence at all. It's nearly impossible to have confidence unless you've done that before and you're just transitioning to opening it up on your own. So part of confidence isn't just people giving you confidence. It's you having the confidence in other people and people to rely on, and having that support system and having a mentor or having someone to gain that confidence with. And that's a lot of the work that Tom and I do. And if you're unable to seek us out and work with us and hire us, find whoever the most amazing person is in your industry. Right? Who is somebody that you're like, wow, I want to be them one day? And go approach them. They will most likely be full of confidence, and you will not. But if you're vulnerable in that situation, just say, hey, I would love it at one point in my career if I could end up in a similar situation as you. You will watch that person just give you confidence because they will tell you how they did it. They will tell you what things not to do. The most successful people cannot wait to share with other business owners, hey man, here's how you do it quicker than I did it. Right. It's inspiring to watch other people. It's the successful ones really will open up almost everything to each other as long as they have the time. That's the only thing. Yeah.
And they'll admit their failures too. They'll be like, will. I got here because I failed. Because
I failed more than I succeeded.
Yep. And I accepted my failures and learned from them. And that's what made me successful.
Yeah. And they still fail every single day, but they have the confidence to get back up and do it tomorrow over again. And that's really the key. So, for some of you, I hope you're able to reach out to us and we can be your support system to gain that confidence, gain that clarity so you can start making these decisions. And, our stories here are supposed to be your solutions. I hope today that some of these things that we've shared can be a solution. You can always reach out to us on Instagram. I'm sure there'll be a million other ways by the time this comes out. But we'd love to hear back from you about how confident you are. Maybe you could leave some messages in the comments here for YouTube, for the other platforms that don't let you. But let us know a little bit something about how are some ways that you overcame and became confident? What are some situations where you were not confident at all? And maybe we can help advise you on how to get through that. But we'd love to hear a little bit more about your experience with confidence or the lack of it.
Absolutely. That would be great.
All right, Tommy, I think that's it.
All right, man. I think we're good. So be confident, man. We're leaving. We're out.